Hello everybody, welcome back to our second episode of Let's Play Anarchy Online. So, in our first episode, I had sort of introduced the game briefly. We created our character, we did our first mission. There's a lot of stuff still that is not going to make sense to you if you've just started playing. But I don't want to get too bogged down in explaining everything. I also want to play the game a little bit, so we'll try to keep a healthy balance. Before we get going, there was one thing I started alluding to, and then I forgot, which is some very important and useful resources for you if you need information about the game. So the first one that I want to suggest to you is a website called AO Universe. That's AO-Universe. Has basically guides for pretty much everything in the game, so that's going to be a very important source of information. There are also some databases. One of them is called AO Items, which is just aoitems.com, and another one which is slightly older but also has some good tools is called auno.org, auno.org. So these three resources are going to be very important and very useful, and we'll certainly make use of them later. Finally, there's a tool that's going to be a sort of a third-party tool that is, almost necessary, which helps you to roll missions called ClickSaver. We'll get to that. We'll use it later. For now, we won't need to use it for a while, but later when we roll missions, that's very useful. I won't go into all the technical details. You can Google all that stuff. So those are some of the important resources that I forgot to mention in the first episode. So in this episode, I think one of the things we really need to talk about, we'll keep going on this storyline here. Let's just take a moment to admire the early 2000s sci-fi graphics. The environment in this game really, I think, stands up quite nicely still to the test of time. Okay, enough of that. So I kind of realized later that I kind of glossed over this this skill system a little too quickly. So let's take a moment to talk about this. In this game, obviously, it's an MMO, right? You get experience, you gain levels. In the free-to-play version, you can get up to level 200. If you get the expansions, the Shadowlands adds some levels on top of that, 20 levels, and then the Alien Invasion also adds levels and perks and whatnot. But if we keep it simple, basically, every level you get a fixed number of IP improvement points. That number changes once you reach a certain threshold, which are called title levels. But basically, it just means that for a few levels, you'll always get the same number. And then once you reach a certain, for example, at level 50, from level 50 to 90, you get even more points. And actually, 15 is the first cutoff point. So after level 15, you certainly start getting more IP points. Every time you have IP points, you can spend them. So for example, this first line here, abilities, are our basic, attributes, if you will: strength, stamina, sense, all those things. Looks like somebody has cast a buff on us while I wasn't looking. Composite attribute boost, which is buffing everything by 12. So that's good, but and we'll be able to cast this on ourselves too soon. So if you notice, some of these are green, some of them are blue, some of them are dark blue. A green skill is, in abilities, this is determined by our race. So we're Opifex, so we're good at agility and sense. Nanomages are good at int, strength and stamina is the specialty of the Aatrox, and the Solstice are good at everything. All of these skills here, their colors, if you will, are determined by our class. So we are agents. So for example, in ranged weapons, rifle is light blue, whereas, two-hand edge weapons like big swords are dark blue, right? So the darker blue skill is, the harder it is, the more expensive it is in terms of improvement points to raise it. So usually you want to stay away from those skills. The classes are kind of designed to favor certain kinds of weapons or skills in general. Now, some skills are just super important and you need them anyways, right? So for example, you need treatment for implants. You need computer literacy no matter what. So no matter what your class is, you need to max your computer literacy all the time. And, we'll get into details later. So generally, when you start the game, for the first few levels, there's a button here, suggested IP distribution. And if I click it, it sort of automatically went and spent my IP in a way that's kind of recommended. So let's see what it did for us. So it increases all our abilities, which is fine. As you get short on IP, which happens as you get close to those break-off points, right? Like 15. So from level 11 to 15, you're going to start realizing you can't put IP into everything you want. Maybe you can cut back on some of the abilities you don't need. These abilities trickle down into everything. So for example, my rifle skill is 60% dependent on agility and 40% dependent on sense. So the more I put in agility and sense, that will have a trickle-down effect into my rifle skills. So that's something that's important to keep in mind. Other than that, though, these abilities are just used for like equipping armor, for example. And there are sets of armor that are designed for agility and sense, but others might take agility and strength or stamina and who knows, right? So different sets will have different requirements. Okay, let's see what they've given us. Body dev is your hit points. So we want to max it, right? You want hit points, obviously. It's dark blue for agents because agents aren't particularly tough, but we need hit points, so we're going to have to just spend a lot of IP to get these. Nano pool is the size of our pool, which is going to be important for us because we're actually going to cast a lot of spells. Now these here, evade close, dodge ranged, are our chances of dodging, of evading attacks. We, as agents, we're not very good at it. And so honestly, our strategy is going to be just don't get hit. It's not going to be worth our while, not at first anyways. We're not going to be able to raise these high enough to bring it to a point where it actually matters, right? Duck explosives is used to dodge shotguns, which NPCs, PvE, this doesn't matter. But this does matter in PvP, so we don't need this. Deflect we don't need, we're not going to get into that. Nano resist helps you resist nano. That, I guess we can bump this up if we have the extra IP. Because, when we're fighting monsters, sometimes they have annoying things that they throw at you. But honestly, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe we don't need this. Because, again, we're not going to have it at a high enough level that we're actually going to resist anything. So that's body and defense. So probably every level we're going to be maxing at least these two. Melee weapons we're not going to use because we're agents. Melee specials are used in conjunction with melee weapons, so we don't care about this. Ranged weapons. So all of these are different weapons. Most weapons use one of these skills, but some weapons use a combination of skills, which are usually not as good. I'm not going to get into all of the weapon details and choices. As agents, the class is really built around the rifle. And what I mean by that is, especially if you're playing with a subscription account, you have access to a lot of perks from Alien Invasion and stuff like that. Actually, those perks kind of opened it up a little bit, maybe to ranged energy, but they're basically these, like in other games, they might be like talent points or something like that. And we'll get into those later, but they buff certain weapon choices. And for agents, the ones that you have available really buff the rifle. A little bit bow, and a little bit is available for ranged energy. We'll be classic, I think, and we're going to stick with rifle. Ranged initiative is how fast you shoot, so we also definitely want to max this all the time. Now, range specials are the special attacks we can do with our weapon. Most rifles will have aim shot, so we're good at aim shot. Unfortunately, like I said, aim shot is hard to use, but we're going to try. We're going to try hard and probably fail. Fling shot is another useful. This one you can use all the time. It's just on a short cooldown. It'll be tricky to find a rifle that has fling shot, so for now I'm not going to raise it, but this might be something we invest in later. Okay, nanos and casting. These have almost all been raised. Nano init is how fast we cast. This is going to be important because, remember, agents themselves don't have a lot of great just nanos. I mean, they have like good buffing nanos for their damage and whatnot. But the key to the agent is assuming another profession and then using their spells, right? So we might become a doctor and then heal. So we need casting speed, right? And then we're going to need a lot of nano skills. And normally this might not be the smartest way to play it, but I think I'm going to max a lot of these skills as much as possible, mainly because I want to show you guys a lot of the different play styles, right, with a lot of the different classes. So we're going to see if we can make this work. Exploring run speed, if you can afford the IP, then invest in this. It will literally make you run faster, so you want that. Later we'll worry about vehicles. For now, we don't need to. So that's exploring, combat, and healing. So psychology, we don't really need now. I'm not sure why they invested in it. Concealment is what makes us sneak, and it's probably gonna... Again, we're gonna try. Usually this doesn't work, but we're gonna try to max concealment and aim shot and see if we can actually make it work for ourselves. First aid and treatment are gonna be good to keep us alive, right? They allow you to use higher level stims and rechargers. Treatment is also important for implants. Trade skills, we don't need any of these except computer literacy, which we max all the time because computer literacy allows you to equip better belts. Remember the NCU belts, and better NCU chips, which gives you more NCU slots, which allows you to run bigger buffs, which buff your skills more, which allow you to equip better things. And that's it. Those are pretty much all the skills. So no matter what your class is, always max computer literacy. Max your abilities, probably all of them. Max your weapon that you use, your special that you use, the nanos that you use. If you're not sure which of these nano skills, you can look at your nanos. For example, we have one here. Detained suspect uses TS and PM. So I'm just TS time space and PM is psycho modification. So when I try to root somebody, it's going to compare my TS and PM skill versus their nano resist, basically, right? And you can see here, this is all spelled out. So you can go on one of the database sites like AO Items or ano.org, and it is going to, you can see all the nanos available to your class, and you'll see what skills are needed. So some classes, maybe your class doesn't use SI, so you never need to put any points in it, right? As an agent, we're going to be using everyone's nanos, so that's why I'm putting IP and everything. Okay, enough about that. Let us let's just play a little bit, and we'll keep explaining more stuff later. We added all our stuff, and I'm happy with the changes, so we're going to save the changes. Otherwise, you can just close and it will not save your changes. So Rex up there told us, actually I kind of forget the details, but he told us to talk to this next guy. Yeah, we need to get a license, right? So we're to talk to this guy, Marcus. What do you have to say? He's busy. But there's a fire. So we gotta help him with the fire. Alright, so in our inventory, we have a compact fire suppressant container. And it says, this basically first mission is to help you figure out how to do missions. But here it says, to use, left click on this item in your inventory and drop it by left clicking on the fire, right? So we got to take out this fire, like here. So I just left clicked, and mission completed. Now, so let's go talk to this guy again. You did a pretty good job, thanks. Now, most of these missions, when you have to hand in something, you always have this UI element here. So they're just basically introducing this UI to you. Okay. We got the first step, a generic nanotransmitter. Thanks again. And he sent us to somebody else. Now, there's a little mini side quest here, but the wounded guys. So he's given us a quest item, health regeneration stim, and we're supposed to go help these wounded dock workers. So here what I've done is I've selected the character and then right-clicked the item in my inventory to activate it. Let's go back to talk to Marcus. And we healed him. He's going to want his thing back. And as a reward, we get some extra rechargers. Now I can stack these because they're the same quality level, right? These are level 1, and these are level 1, so they should stack together. It just took a while. Okay, and you notice we did a cool flip because we leveled up. There's an indication here. So we leveled up, we got more IP, and I'm going to spend that IP as we head down to the next mission, which is to find Flint Novak. So let's spend our IP as we walk down this railing. Get some more hit points, get some more nano. Ranged weapons, ranged initiative, rifle. Okay, here's Flint Novak. Let me save this so far and I'll finish the rest later. Alright. Flint looks after the junkyard. And he needs us to get something for a friend of his, and what he needs is a bioanalyzing computer. And you know, I'm thinking I'm gonna click through these. I'm not gonna read all of them, but you know, there's actually a lot of lore and a lot of writing. In fact, I think there was even a book that was written about the backstory of this game. You know, and some of it's actually kind of fun and interesting, and you know, certainly somebody's put some thought into it. So I'll try to click as many of these as possible, and if you're interested, feel free to read through this. You know, a lot of these characters have sort of pretty quirky personalities. Okay, but our mission is to kill 7 robots in the junkyard. So let's do that. Again, just to show you how bad here, let's see if we can actually pull off an aim shot here. So first of all, let me just finish spending my IP. Aimed shot. Nano skills. So shift click actually maxes it. Yeah, let's get run speed. First aid, concealment, treatment, complete. Okay. So, there's a mob here that we want to kill, a cleaning robot. If I sneak, I don't know, it already said it detected me. Oh, but I got it. So it was a different one that detected me, obviously not this one. So maybe one of these cleaning robots closer detected me. So, that shot that I just made, you saw aimed shot, is a much higher damage shot, obviously, than my regular shot. It one-shot that mob. But aim shot actually has a pretty high cooldown. In fact, if I go, I'm gonna bring this back on the bar. So aim shot, by the way, is O by default. The key is O. I'm just gonna start shooting some other guys. So I don't need to have it on the bar here, but this will tell me this will keep track of the cooldown for me, so I'll know when it's up. So for now, we can just auto attack these guys. Alright. Notice this cleaning robot over there. It is bigger than these, and it's got this kind of shiny shell around it. This means it is sort of a random kind of world boss. They give better loot And in fact, there's some loot that can only be gotten by defeating war bosses of the appropriate level. But they can be a much tougher fight than the regular mobs, right? That they represent. It should be done. One more, I think. Oh, it tells me here you have to kill one more to fulfill one of your missions. Okay. Alright, and we have to go talk to Alex, who is over here. Obviously, I've done this intro area many times, so I kind of know where to go. But if you didn't know where to go, on the map, there is a pointer. And then on your compass, there's also a pointer. So you should be able to navigate to where you need to go. Okay, I was told to bring you this device so you can get me an ID. So the device is this bioanalyzing computer. And got another level. So he tells us to go talk to old Bill. And we got a level, so I'm gonna add this stuff. So what does Bill want? And he needs... Oh, wait, no. We don't need to talk to Bill yet. We need to do the favor for Bill and then go talk to Bill. So, we need to hack some robots. Now, before I do that, for no reason at all, I'm gonna buy a hamburger. A Bronto burger. So this game is full of like random stuff like this that you can do. So we're gonna buy a Bronto burger, just a regular one, no cheese. Alright. Now we've got some kind of surveillance thing, and again, here you can follow on the mini-map. I'm aiming right for this little crossing. Here we go, surveillance droid. I'm supposed to use... Oh, kind of rubber banded back there. My connection isn't that good. We have to use the security device on it. There was, if you notice, there was a little progress bar up here. Okay, that's done. Next, plant a bug. So, by the way, we're doing this to, like, we're helping him with law enforcement. We're, you know, helping incriminate some guy, and we have to put the bug in this tree. Which we need to pick up, which I forgot to do. So pick up with left mouse, then right click on the plant. Good, and now we can deliver this to Bill. Before we do that though, we can talk to this guy, who's the guy that we're supposed to be incriminating. But it turns out, so this guy's kind of like a mob boss, but he has work that needs to be done. And he wants us to go fetch him a burger. So I just got the burger already because, you know, I knew he would need that, but obviously if not, he'd have to run back. So we have his Bronto burger. Yes, he can smell it. There you go. Okay, then, now that he trusts us because we got him a burger, he wants us to he wants us to help him get rid of protesters, because I guess they're protesting against, I don't know, they're protesting against him and he wants us to kill him. Now, you know, should you be killing protesters because this random mob boss asked you to? I don't know, but I guess our character is a agent, right? A secret agent who is used to working for the highest bidder. I don't know, actually. I haven't thought about the role-playing aspects of our character yet. Maybe that's something we'll think about more later. In the meantime, we'll just do all the work that's asked of us. We took care of the protesters. And then, you know, you could say like, oh, he wants us to do more work. I don't feel good about it, but we're a consummate professional, so we'll take care of it. Maybe that's what this character is like. This character is like a consummate professional, right? So that can help us not feel bad about doing all the terrible things that MMOs usually have you do. Okay, and we have to terminate Cedric Harding, who I believe is right here. Now, no, there's no way we're going to be able to aim shot him. We'll just auto attack. Oh, and he's been joined by one of his friends. So we're taking a bit of damage here. Let's heal. With our... Actually, we definitely need to heal. With our little first aid stim. Oh, because we're being attacked by two people. I don't know if this is... Oh. So, hilariously, I just rooted myself because I was thinking, oh, I'll be clever. I'll root the other guy, then run away. But, of course, I rooted myself, right? Which, yeah, you can totally do in this game. Okay, anyways, I survived. I'm almost dead, so let's recharge with these out-of-combat stims. There we go, no downtime. Okay, so we killed Cedric Harding. Why is he still alive? Because he respawned really quickly, and as a reward, we got 3 awesome overalls. And let's just take a look at what these look like. So the first one, construction worker overalls. Yes, no, maybe, please. Ah, maybe because it goes in the back slot. So, yeah, that's it. Alright, so we'll take off the backpack. So we can look like a construction worker. This one gives a lot of nice buffs, including 1% experience modifier and adult def. I don't know if you see here, adult def, max health, max nano. This one adds all offense, and this one reduces nano cost. I think both in terms of the utility and in terms of the looks, this suit is clearly by far the best looking and the best choice, so we're totally going to go with this suit. Because it just looks the best. Yeah. And actually, well here, let's, we're going to wrap up this episode in just a minute, but before I do that, let me just show you, I'll take this off. We picked up some random armor, so we could also equip that. Now this was like a kind of torn pair of shorts, so I'm not sure why we'd want to equip that, but it doesn't really matter because we're all going to be wearing it under our suit. Oh, and also these boots. Nice. Alright, so, you know, this is a little bit more armor than we had before. We'll talk about gear and stuff in the next episodes as we work through these quests, and that'll be introduced to us. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions or feedback, please get in touch, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.